This video concerns setting up a hexagonal grid for the current assignment due after break. So I want you to be setting up 6 hexagons and doing the design in 6 hexagons. How the heck do you do that? Well, it's actually a lot easier than it seems. And that's because the process of making a hexagon, starting with a circle, involves going around and making marks on the circle or making complete other circles. And because this is a rusty compass construction, all these circles are going to be the same size. And so you just go around the first circle as if you were making a single hexagon. But when you're done doing that, then you go around the other circles in the same fashion. So I might start with this circle, and I'll do the same thing. I'll make more circles. So we're placing our compass on intersections and making more and more intersections. And so the compass isn't being placed randomly, but only on where these circles cross. The circles, and if you place it on any place that the circles cross, you'll be good to go. So it turns out that making a bunch of hexagons is probably the easiest thing to do. This is actually why I'm having you do a hexagonal pattern, or a pattern based on a hexagonal grid, as opposed to a pattern based on a square grid. Because I think the squares are a bit more finicky. And part of that is because you end up changing your compass opening. There are real practical benefits to rusty compass constructions. During all this marking, I'm not adjusting my compass. The only error is where I place the sharp end of the compass or the width of my lead. Every time we adjust the compass, we introduce a little bit of error, and that makes it harder and harder to keep our design straight as we go on here. So I think you get the idea. Now, where are the hexagons? I'm going to use a marker, but you would use a pencil, because all of these lines are the scaffolding of the design. None of these are important for the final design. They're only important for constructing the points. So let's see. I could do something like, let's start making some hexagons. And what you'll notice here is that the hexagons are all touching. So that's going to be a hexagon. We could find the rest of it if we wanted to. There's going to be a hexagon right here. And there's going to be a hexagon right here. Now, getting these hexagons lined up right will take, like most things in life, a little thinking, a little practice. You may go through and do this once and realize, oh, darn it, they're falling off the page. I need to do it again. And that's fine. Again, these sorts of assignments are really ideal for breaking up your work. Take a break, do something visual. Your first step could be creating a hexagonal grid, and when you get that step, then you go on and do some other work. Read a book, watch a movie, whatever. Eat some turkey. And then you come back to it, and then you can lay the other lines, the other parts of the foundation of the design. Come back to it, and then you could put on the actual swirly lines that will constitute the design. Come back to it, and then you could erase some things and highlight the finished curves, the finished design, add some color. You could do it over 3 or 4 sittings. And those might only be between 15 and 30 minutes apiece. But you're not stressed out. You're enjoying it. Listen to some music. So what did I end up with here? I I could complete this one pretty easily. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one is a little hard to complete. I should have started my design over just a little bit. But again, that only took me a few minutes, 5 minutes and 10 seconds actually. Now, once you have your hexagon set up, the auxiliary lines are also pretty easy to do. If you think about the pattern that you have to work from, the instructions, there are all these extra lines, but most of them are very easy to do. So the lines that connect corners, they form more or less straight lines across the page. So that's there are plenty of things to line up there. Most of the lines that you're going to need will actually pour across these hexagons. So I'm not going to set up all the auxiliary lines, but just show you some of them. Now, you do need lines going from the midpoints of the sides of the hexagons. The key to remember here, or the observation to make, is that the centers of neighboring circles actually form perpendicular bisectors. And I actually get out my ruler instead. And these lines will just go right across hexagons, and they will save you a lot of time. So let's see, I can make one. And you will find that your lines aren't always meeting up perfectly. Just try to split the difference as you're doing this. Line it up as many points as possible. And you could always just do a hexagon to hexagon. It won't be as straight. But again, these are pencil marks. You wouldn't be doing this in pen. These are pencil marks. These will go away. And when you trace over your final design, say in Sharpie or marker or something, the thickness of that marker can eat up some of these errors, some of these little mistakes we're making. So the thing just to notice what I'm doing here is I'm not having to draw lines in one hexagon, then move on to the next hexagon, move on to the next hexagon, and so on. I'm actually drawing the lines in lots of hexagons at the same time. And that makes the process a lot faster and more regular too. Again, I'm not going to do all of them, but I'll do a bunch of them. So you can see, let's see, what do I need here? I just need some of the diagonal lines. It's been 8 minutes. This video's been going on, and I've got 3 hexagons with all the basic lines, and some others are well on their way. Well, let's change tracks for a moment and do something different. So the next set of lines are overlapping triangles, a Star of David. So I would say connect these 3 points. But notice that in these neighboring hexagons, drawing a line across here is going to set up those same triangles on the neighboring hexagons. There's going to be a triangle up here. And likewise, down here in this hexagon, I would eventually connect these 3 dots. What you'll notice is they're all collinear. They all line right up. So it depends, you know, if you find it really confusing, then you probably shouldn't do it this way. You can just do it in each hexagon. But if you pause and think about it, if you use a pencil, you can actually make these little marks to let yourself know where do I need to line the ruler up. Because the scaffolding that we set up for these designs is pretty busy. There are lots and lots of lines that set us up to put those beautiful curves in that we saw in class, so that you can see in the image attached to the homework. But the idea, again, is that you don't have to do them all separately. You can actually do them together. And it's a pretty big time saver. You're going along. And again, this would all be done in pencil. For you, I'm just doing them in pen so that you can see the recent works that I'm doing. Green is the most recent set of lines, and so on and so forth. So I have all the lines I need in this hexagon. I have almost all the lines I need here. That hexagon is done. This one is almost done. What do I need? I need another line here. And remember, this is new to you. So there's no reason why this should be, oh, sure, I see everything he's doing and where he's going with it and how it all fits together. Oh, no, of course not. Why should it be? New things are always difficult. It's just the amount of difficulty that changes. So I'm just kind of going over here and drawing these lines so you have something to look at. So there I have 4 hexagons. I've done this before, so it's a little faster for me, but it's whatever, 11.5 minutes. And these peripheral hexagons are well on their way to being done. And at this point, I really am ready. This would all be done with pencils. I'm ready to start making curves on my design, taking my compass and setting it up where I want it, and making those curves that will be part of my final design. And these curves, this is the first time you would pick up a pen or a marker to start tracing them, because these are the things that you don't want to erase when you're all said and done. These are the things that will constitute your final design. And I'm checking my compass, making sure the curve really is going to match up. And we can kind of see how this is all going to play together. I'm going to jump around a little bit. Just draw a couple neighboring curves and other hexagons. And this isn't intended to be an instruction. We have written instructions that are provided. I wonder if I can find. Is it this? Whoop, nope, actually. It would be this right here. Rather, this is just meant to be an overview of what's going on. I don't know if I have the lines over here. I kind of do. It's a little bit off in this design. Where is it? Oh, I know why it's off. I think it would be here. Kind of moving a little too fast on some of the peripheral ones. Just so you can kind of see how this design is going to come together. Of course, you're going to spend a bit more time doing this. Here we go. So this is not the same order that you would do it in. But then the idea is you're going to see these motifs. You're going to do each hexagon at a time, but you'll notice that these shapes start coming up. And this is the cool thing about this design, is that it doesn't even seem like you're making this while you're putting together all the hexagons and whatnot. I gotta stop this video in good class. Hope this is helpful.